Get ready. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Start. The budget presented by Dr. Manmohan Singh no doubt has laudable objectives. But unfortunately, the laudable objectives enunciated in the budget speech are not reflected in the finance bill. So, there is a wide gap between the assertions of the finance minister and their execution as per the finance bill. The country is baffled. The entire nation is baffled as to how Dr. Manmohan Singh managed to mesmerize the country with laudable objectives but without the concerned provisions in the finance bill. Dr. Manmohan Singh went on criticizing the previous two governments of 1.5 years. But the fact remains that the economic instability in the country actually took place during the Congress rule. When the first budget was presented in August 1947 by late Shri Shanmugam Chettiar, the revenue receipts at that time were to the tune of rupees 170 crores, whereas the expenditure was rupees 197 crores and the deficit was rupees 27 crores. Mr. Vice Chairman, sir, as you know, the first budget was for only 6 months, but by the end of the year, the deficit was completely wiped out and the government came out successful and with a plus. In the present budget, the total expenditure of the government is rupees 1,19,000 and odd crores. Dr. Manmohan Singh and others from the government day in and day out say that they are curtailing government expenditure, but the figures go contrary to their assertions. When the colonial rule ended in 1947, the entire government of India was working only in the North Block and in the South Block. Now, the government has expanded so much that its offices could not be accommodated in entire New Delhi. Their offices are at Krishi Bhavan, Yojana Bhavan, Shastri Bhavan, Nirman Bhavan, and several other bhavans. Not satisfied with these, the Government of India's offices are at Lodi Road also. Not only this, the government acquired even the private houses and private buildings in Delhi to accommodate their offices. So, the total expenditure of the government is going up. When we look at the figures in the expenditure budget, what is the total expenditure of the government on establishment and salaries? Sir, it is a fact that there are more than 43 lakhs of people working in the Government of India alone. Their salary bill, establishment charges, emoluments, and other allowances amount to nearly 13,000 crores of rupees. If the pension bill is also added, it amounts to nearly 16,000 crores of rupees. It is the government of India's alone, and when we take the state governments, establishments, local bodies, aided institutions, and the public sector undertakings, there are more than 2 crores on their payrolls, and the total expenditure involved in it is something around 45,000 crores of rupees. Little precious has been done to reduce the expenditure of the government. As for the figures of the non-plan expenditure, when compared to the last year's budget, the non-plan expenditure went up by 4,400 crores of rupees. If we calculate, the government of India spends something about rupees 165 crores per day and rupees 16,500 per second to run the show. This is on the expenditure side alone. And to meet this expenditure, the government resorted to higher taxation, and thereby the taxation has gone up, and subsequently the revenue receipts went up. The revenue receipts account for 76,000 crores of rupees roughly. Not satisfied with this, the government goes in for borrowing money both internally and externally. The total debt burden of the government of India is roughly about 4 lakh crores of rupees. The debt servicing is the interest payment alone amounts to 32,000 crores of rupees per annum. So, the per capita debt in India is rupees 4,200, and if we add this figure to the debt of the state governments, the per capita debt goes up to rupees 6,000 or rupees 7,000, varying from one state to another. Even then, the government is not able to meet their expenses as they are living beyond their means. So, on one side, they are enhancing taxation, and on the other side, they are going for borrowings. As the money is still not sufficient, the government has resorted to deficit financing day in and day out. Dr. Manmohan Singh says that they are curtailing deficit financing. But the figures supplied by the finance minister show that the deficit financing is to the tune of 5,000 crores of rupees. But the fiscal deficit is more than rupees 34,000 crores. So, deficit financing means printing additional notes from the Nasik press. Whenever any individual issues a check without having the requisite balance in his account, the check is dishonored. But the government goes on printing notes without any legal sanction.